Welcome back. You can't see what I'm watching, sorry about that. I'm gonna be reacting to the TV star who outperformed Elite Athlete by a bad guy. Um, that's a very suspicious name right there. This is from Looney Town or whatever it's called, right? Fuck, I forgot the name, but the one with the pink-haired girl and the puppet.
Absolute giga-chat of a man went from being a carpenter to an international champion athlete, and then he built a fitness empire through a super famous kids TV show.
Wait, what?
And he went from being a carpenter to an international champion athlete, and
there's like a weird noise.
then he built a
like a bzzz, and it was people tell you can't rise up, you can't go from like nothing to something, by the way. But look at him, he went from a carpenter to
an international champion athlete, and then he built a fitness empire through a super famous kids TV show. And he's still in incredible shape at age 60. Now, we all have different reasons for why we started training. Some wanted to get girls, others did it because it was fun, and some of you probably did it to get better at sports, and you ultimately fell in love with
or you just like the way it looks. For example, I like the way being muscular makes you look. That's why I was working out for a time. I stopped pretty much because I had what's it called, finals for some classes, and after the finals I just didn't feel like working out. Then one rest day turned into two turned into three, and I'm back
with the iron, and now you use that to fuel your inner voices because they won't stop shouting unless you do. And let's be honest, a lot of us were inspired by the characters we grew up watching in cartoons, anime, and movies. You know, those larger-than-life personalities with biceps.
I actually didn't grow up watching Dragon Ball. I did watch
and let's be
I forgot the name, but I watched this.
Honest, a lot of us were inspired by the characters we grew up watching in cartoons.
Ben 10 I did watch. I actually watched a lot of Ben 10. Up until he became like a super alien. I also watched the movie.
Anime and movies. You know, those larger-than-life personalities with biceps bigger than your future. People often talk about how Barbie created unrealistic body expectations, but have you seen the sort of stuff?
No one says that. Dude, Barbie came out like last year. Nobody's saying that. Like, have you seen Goku? Have you seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Like, not only that, but there's plenty of bodybuilders that are just crazy jacked.
Like I grew up with. Hulked out heroes and action figures like these made it look like you needed a 10-pack just to get out of bed. But one show that really stuck with me as a kid was Lazy Town. You know, that old kids TV show where most of the characters look like they're sculpted out of Play-Doh, and only 3 of them are actual humans. There's a little girl, the greatest meme lord of all time, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Have you ever heard the sound of a rubber ball breaking a window? Would you like to?
And this absolute giga-chat of athleticism, Sporticus. A play on the word sport, which makes him sound...
He was just doing flips, push-ups with wall flipping and other shit. Oh, yeah, he shows it.
Insanely athletic, and Akkus, which means gigachat. And he's played by a former gymnast, Magnus Örn Eyjolfsson Shaving. That is difficult to pronounce. But this guy wasn't just an actor, he was and still is the real deal. Now, Sporticus is supposed to be a superhero, but his superpower is just being insanely fit. I mean, this dude is out here doing backflips, breaking through steel bars, and whenever he needs an extra boost of power, he just eats a random fruit or vegetable. That's right, the secret sauce to his strength is a well-balanced diet. And because he's super extra,
it's a kid's show. It's just, oh, eat your veggies, eat everything on the plate, make sure you exercise, go out and play. It's just a kid's show.
Sporticus lives in a freaking airship, he flies around the sky like he's the freaking gigachat of Earth, which he is, and he does push-ups at every given opportunity.
Yeah. Push-ups, yes! I know a lot of different kinds of push-ups. But
the real magic of Lazy Town isn't just the weird characters or the bizarre plot. No, it's the fact that Magnus Shaving, the guy who plays Sporticus, is also the creator, writer, and director of the show. He literally put himself on the highest pedestal possible because he knew exactly how much of a Chad he was. But all jokes aside, Magnus is genuinely one of the strongest, most agile, and healthy people you'll probably ever come across. And his backstory...
Wasn't he like 40 years old or so when he was doing the show? Because I remember hearing he was super old, and it actually like surprised me a lot.
Story is even more fascinating than you'd expect. Now, Magnus grew up in a pretty average, small Icelandic town, and he started training to become an athletics teacher, but he later realized that carpentry and architecture were more in line with his interests. So one day, while working as a carpenter, he made a bet with his friend Fjölnir that would change both of their lives forever. And what was this challenge? To master a sport which both of them knew nothing about. Now, Fjölnir was challenged to master snooker, and Magnus had to start doing aerobic gymnastics, which is...
I mean, technically he was learning how to do gymnastics, no? Even if it's a different branch, he probably still knows the basics. Like the basic trunk, it's probably still the same for all of them.
Similar to the floor event in regular gymnastics, but with more dancing and personality-based scores than just doing a lot of flips. Now get this, both of these guys ended up becoming the national champions in their respective sports. But Magnus didn't want to stop there. He went above and beyond. He began competing internationally, becoming the Scandinavian champion in 1993, the European champion in 1994, and also in 1995. And he was even being voted for Iceland's Athlete of the Year in 94. But during this time, Magnus would realize that his true passion was just motivating others to be their best selves. So, he created a small TV show in Iceland from 1991 to 93, where parents could get advice on raising their kids how to be healthy and active. But Magnus realized he was thinking too small, and he wanted to spread this message of health and fitness to the entire world. So in 1995, he wrote a children's book that became the foundation for what would later become the Lazy Town TV show. And he managed to do all of this while running a carpentry business and earning a degree in sports science while competing internationally in aerobic gymnastics. Talk about multitasking. Lazy Town began as a traveling stage show across Iceland, and it quickly became a hit, especially because the main character was so much of a Chad. So much so that in 2003, Nickelodeon wanted in, and they signed a contract with Magnus, bringing the show to a global audience, which was exactly the move he needed. So by 2004, Lazy Town was on air, and it quickly became an international...
Wait, am I the only one who thought they were weird? Like, especially this guy, these two. Like, they always concerned me. Something about them was super creepy.
Move he needed. So by 2004, Lazy Town was on air, and it quickly became an international success amongst young audiences, proving a successful hit for over 10 years. And Magnus had accomplished his mission, to inspire kids worldwide to become healthy and active in the most creative way possible. But here's the kicker. When Magnus first appeared as Sporticus, he wasn't some prime athlete in his mid-20s or even early 30s. He was already 40 years old, performing insane gymnastics and full body movements that would put most athletes half his age to shame. And by the time the show ended in 2014, he was 50, still flipping, jumping.
Oh, I mean, a lot of athletes that are like the top do use a lot of gear. And I'm not saying gear itself will make you like super big. You still have to train and all that. But on the long run, you are getting like fucked. So he probably didn't use gear, or at least didn't abuse gear.
Sprinting around.
That's why even this old, he's still able to perform
like he was half his age. And even now, as he approaches 60, he is still a...
I guess he wasn't a bodybuilder, he was a gymnastics something, right? So he also wasn't super big. He didn't, you know, have to eat 20 meals a day to keep up his protein intake. That could also help.
Able to replicate all of his former moves with ease, and even those super extra push-ups, and he's often given a lot of credit for the general level of physical fitness, health, and life expectancy in Iceland because of his drive to promote a healthy way of living and eating. And even back then, he promoted what a lot of nutrition experts talk about today in regards to food processing, calorie consumption, like avoiding fried foods because they add unnecessary fats, or eating
Dude, fried chicken is good though. Like, you have to admit that. Fried chicken should get an approval. It's just too good. You can't pass that up.
Whole foods because they aren't tampered with and because they'll be more filling and richer in micronutrients.
So I would always say the rule of thumb,
I'm not a rabbit, by the way.
the more they change their food for original look, the more
good.
unhealthy it gets. So if you cook a fish, if you eat it raw, fantastic. If you cook it just get the steam off, you eat it, 8 points out of 10. If you just take it and cook it, like fried it on a pan, 6 points. If you really take it and you deep fry it,
I'm not eating anything raw. I'm not a monkey.
If it doesn't look like a fish when you eat it, it's not a fish.
And Magnus.
Oh, dude, I'm not a monkey. By the way, frying the fish makes it look more like a fish than just cooking it normally, I feel like, no? Anyways, yeah, because it still keeps its shape. Like, it doesn't crumble and all that. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, we're not monkeys anymore. We have to heat up meat. I know it's safe to eat fish. Well, safe. If there's anything wrong with the fish, you're getting fucked. Like, if there's any bad bacteria or anything weird, like the heat kills it.
Is oftentimes invited to sporting events and shows that talk about
overall,
sports, health, and conferences and congresses for exercise and the medical benefits a great lifestyle has on chronic disease and life quality. He's also a motivational speaker, so even nearing an age where most people would barely walk 1,000 steps per day, Magnus is still preaching his message and doing everything he can to make a positive impact on people's health. And maybe, just maybe, he'll make a comeback to the TV screen in his 60s just to prove that his advice about training and nutrition is the true path to the fountain of youth.
Yeah. To be fair, you need more people, more data, because he could also just be like this fitting good, just because of genes. His genes just could be that good, and he's also works out and shit, right? So it might not be the nutrition and what he eats, but just his lifestyle and genes. Like, he could be an exception, not the rule.
Last time, ready? And go! Clap, run! Jump! Superhero! Yeah, thank you very much, thank you!
Look at this dumbass. Dude, look at these two. You're going into a show, you're probably paying for this, or the company you work for is paying for this. Just look, even this old guy is doing it. So you should...
Yeah, thank you very much!
Fuck these two.
So the next time you guys think about Lazy Town, remember that behind the goofy songs and the zany characters was a man who truly embodied the spirit of a superhero, proving that age is just a number and that fitness is a lifelong journey. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this one, the best thing you can do is leave a like and a comment to support the channel. And if you guys want to join my coaching group for just $1 per day and get handmade training plans and a cookbook with over 500 high protein...
Yeah, thanks, man. Wait, is he a gym guy? I don't want to see gym guys, sorry. I don't want to see gym shit on my recommended. I love the video though. It was quick, to the point, entertaining. Like, I feel like I didn't really react much, did I? Actually, I did cut a bit at the start. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video, hopefully. Like and subscribe as well, right?